Hey Eagle fans, it's EaglefanKarl. This is going to be my preview and prediction video for tomorrow afternoon's game against the New Orleans Saints, and don't really know where to start with this game in terms of a breakdown because I really don't know what to expect out of this Eagles team anymore. They've been obviously a huge disappointment week after week, and I just don't know how much more faith I can put in this team. All that said, you look at this game and there's no reason why you should be picking the Eagles to win this thing. But then again, we said that last week about the Cowboys, who came into our house as a huge underdog, just like we're going to New Orleans as a huge underdog. The big difference, of course, being in my mind that the New Orleans Saints are playing a lot better than we were coming into our game. Now, we had played one decent game right before the bye, leading into our game against Dallas. But still, if you looked at the last several weeks leading up to the leading up to the Cowboys game, the only decent game we played was against the Giants in terms of overall domination. And you look at the Saints, that's not the case. The Saints have been dominating teams left and right, and they've been dominating, playoff caliber teams like they did against the Bengals last week and what many people would have thought would have been a trap game. So really, all in all, I don't see, I don't think that this is the same kind of a situation as what we had, last week when we lost to Dallas. I don't think the Saints are in the same position as we were in last week. And when I say, that we're in no position to really win this game, you just look at the stats and they're scary in terms of how good the Saints have been this year. Their offense is just absolutely off the charts. Overall, they're fifth in overall offense in terms of moving the ball in yardage. They're seventh in passing and eighth in rushing, so they're balanced. And the scariest part of it, of course, is they're first in overall scoring. So it's not just that they're moving the ball, they're taking advantage when they do. And Drew Brees at this point is having an MVP caliber year. It's just insane how well he's playing right now. And it's clear that offense is what's making this team hum right now. The other scary part about it, in terms of, the one thing that can sort of usually offset a good passing team is if you're able to get to the quarterback. They're not only, first in scoring, they're first in sacks surrendered. They've only given up 9 sacks all year. That's basically an average of 1 a game. And if you're not getting pressure on Drew Brees, he's going to carve most defenses alive. And when you look at our secondary and how banged up it is right now, I don't see why he's not going to do that against us. The other thing you can say that sometimes you can do against a team with a really good offense is try to control the ball when you have it. And the Eagles have been pretty good at that this year. They're second in time of possession. The problem is the team that's first in time of possession is the Saints. So the Saints have been able to control the ball. As we saw, they're balanced on offense in terms of run versus pass. So they can throw the ball on you or they can run the ball on you. It's not really going to make much of a difference. If they want to play a ball control game, they can do that. If they want to throw the ball on you, they can do that. And they've shown through time of possession that they can dominate in time of possession as well. So is there any silver lining in this breakdown? The silver lining, I guess, is their defense isn't good. Their one sort of outlier stat is they're first in the league in rushing defense. But I think that's because teams just aren't able to run the ball against this team because they're behind by so much because this offense is so good. So they've got to throw the ball to keep up. So I think that's a little bit of a misleading stat, but it just goes to show once again how good this offense is. You hate to say that the Eagles are going to have to win. They're going to have to win in a shootout, but I kind of think that's what's going to happen in this thing. I don't see how the Eagles end up winning this game like, 24-21 or something like that. And the problem is the Eagles haven't scored over 30 points other than one game, and that was that game against the Giants. So really, the question becomes, is this offense good enough to keep up with Drew Brees? And, that's the one thing that really scares me in terms of whether or not that can actually happen. You look at their defensive stats, though, and they are sort of telling in terms of potentially how poor this defense is. And that's because they're 23rd in overall defense, and they're also tied for 23rd in points surrendered. So they're in the bottom, portion of the league in terms of giving up yards and giving up points. I said they're first in rushing defense, but they're also 31st in passing defense. So they're almost at the bottom of the league. They're second to last in the league in terms of passing defense. So you can throw the ball on this team, and you can move the ball, and you can score on this team. And quarterbacks generally are having some of their better games against this team because opponents' passer rating, they're 29th in the league in terms of the other team's quarterback and what their passer rating is against this defense. So there's no reason why you shouldn't be able to move the ball on this team and score on this team. It's just a matter of whether or not you can do it enough to keep up with their offense. Now, of course, the one thing that can overcome all of this is turnovers. And turnovers are the great equalizer in the NFL. Those are the turnover differentials for the two teams, and once again, not a stat in the Eagles' favor. But I look back at the turnovers, in terms of each individual game for the Eagles this year, and one thing that's sort of telling is the Eagles have only won the turnover battle in one game this year, and that was against the Giants. And they've only had multiple turnovers in terms of getting more than one turnover, one takeaway in a game by our defense. We've only had that happen once, and that was against Tampa Bay. It's not that our offense is turning the ball over that much, it's that our defense isn't getting turnovers. And that's problematic because, if it makes our turnovers that much more of a big deal when we're giving the ball up because our defense isn't reciprocating. And that's really problematic for this team, and that's something that's going to have to change if we're going to find a way to win a game like this. We've got to win the turnover battle. We're probably going to have to get multiple turnovers. Even if we win it like 2-1 or something like that, I think that gives us a lot better of a shot to potentially do something with this, do something against this team, because you can't give Drew Brees, scores on every possession. You're going to have to figure out ways to stop him, and the best way to do that is usually with turnovers. And I don't see the Eagles getting 3 and outs on this offense. It's just not going to happen, I don't think. So as a result, I think we're going to have to figure out a way to take the ball away and really protect the ball when we have it as well, and try and win this turnover battle, because that's the only way I really see us winning this thing. So what do I think about this game? Well, I just, my heart tells me that I think the Eagles can win this game. That, there's any given Sunday, any team can beat any other team. The Saints are now won 9 straight in a row. They're due for a letdown. All those things are what my heart's telling me, that there's a way the Eagles can pull this thing out. But my head tells me something completely different. I just don't see how we're going to be able to overcome the injuries we have on defense against this offense, and I just don't see that happening. I do think the Eagles will keep it close, though. I think the offense will be able to score enough to keep the game close and within reach. And as a result, I think it's going to be a higher scoring game, and I think the Eagles ultimately are going to just come up a little bit short in terms of being able to put the ball in the end zone enough times to be able to match what Brees is going to do. For that reason, my score is going to be Saints 37, Eagles 31. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Do you think we have a shot at this thing? Do you think this is it, the season's over, and there's just no way we're going to be able to compete with this team? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Obviously, I'll check in afterwards and let you know, what I think of the game and what I thought of, in terms of how we did. Until then, fly Eagles fly.